All right, do you guys want some dumb football questions here?
Of course we do.
Okay.
Of course we do.
So we'll get to some dumb football questions presented today by our friends over at Aura, our new friends at Aura, who are here not only to help protect you guys, the audience, from various threats online. They're here to help support our show, which is why you should support them by signing up for a free trial at aura.com. That's aura.com/O-line committee. Free 2-week trial. You can check out all the great work that they do. So recently, AT&T revealed, for instance, that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web. So, like, they recommend that those affected, of course, use strong passwords and monitor account activity and consider credit freezes. Well, Aura does all of this for you. And best of all, you don't have to download a million different apps just because one company couldn't keep your data secure or because you're worried about what pops up during a Google search. So if you just go to aura.com/O-line committee and start a free 2-week trial, you can set up very easily the Aura system, which will help protect you against data brokers who sell your information to scammers, spammers, anyone who may want to target you. And parental controls, also part of the deal with Aura. You can monitor activity from your kids on their phones on different apps. Again, it's aura.com, aura.com/O-line committee to start your free 2-week trial. When you sign up for a free 2-week trial, you help our show. So we appreciate and thank you in advance. Okay, boys.
Dumb
football questions here. Submit however you want. YouTube comment section. You can tweet them at us if you want to. We try to stockpile as many of these and get to the best ones. Let's start with this one from Tony Owens. He says, if the UFL was in existence when your careers were winding down in the NFL, would you guys have accepted a job with a UFL team?
No.
Or in the Arena League?
No. I love the UFL, and I think it's fantastic. But it's not meant for guys that are like coming off 4, 5, 6 year careers in the NFL. Like, you're not getting back in. Right, I think if I look at guys,
what if you just want to make a little money playing football still?
They don't want to see you there either.
I mean, sure, but like AJ McCarron, you're not coming back into the league, dude. Like, there's enough tape in the league. You could go light the UFL on fire, and he's crushing it right now. I think he has like 8 touchdowns. He's an MVP candidate, but the NFL knows who you are. They've seen you in the stage in which you weren't able to produce. But the UFL, for a kid coming out of college that is an undrafted free agent, maybe a late round pick, doesn't have a great preseason because there's like whatever reason, there's only 3 games now. He gets on a team that doesn't do it. And the only way you're getting back in the league is through game tape. Perfect league. It's fantastic. Right. But at the end of our careers, like when you're in the NFL for multiple years, usually the reason you get out is because your body tells you can't do it anymore. Right? That's the main reason Booty and I finished playing. It wasn't because we weren't good enough anymore. It was because, my ankle exploded twice, and that was it. Booney's knee was no longer working. Did that lead to us not having as good of play? Yes. So it's kind of a twofold thing. But if that's the case when you're exiting the NFL, the last thing you're going to do is be like, let's
do one more.
$60,000.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's go do it with minimal health insurance.
Dude, it's not. When I left, they were like, you're not allowed to play anymore. Your knee is so bad. They're like, you'd have to sign so many waivers on this thing, Booney. It's not even worth it. So it's like, it wasn't even open to us at the same. And like Jay said, at the same time, yeah, the UFL loves the fact that AJ McCarron's there because every team needs one superstar quarterback, right? I'm cool with that. But when it comes to like, hey, this guy's going into year 7 in the NFL, he's playing on the offensive line, they're like, dude, I don't fucking see you. We want to see the young guys. We want to develop young players. Yeah, it's great having an old quarterback that everyone knows who can sling the ball around, but everyone around him is young, and they're trying to get back into the NFL, and they're like, dude, if we don't have a good quarterback, nobody's going to have good tape. That's why I'm not against guys like that in the league.
I would say this, okay, from a fan perspective. I think the offensive lineman, you're right. It's just you guys put in your dues, your legs are all screwed up. It's warfare in there. But if you're looking to get increased TV viewership, increased interest in the UFL, in the Arena League, whatever, would I, as a fan, be more likely to watch a UFL game if 53-year-old Terrell Owens was playing wide receiver on, not for $60,000, by the way.
You're sick.
Like Major League Soccer has a salary cap structure, but every team can sign one player beyond that structure for marketing purposes. That's how Messi plays for Miami. That's how like David Beckham came in a long time ago. Like, what if the St. Louis Battlehawks signed Adrian Peterson for like $500,000? He would for sure do it for that kind of money. People would be like, "Oh, I get to watch Adrian Peterson play in the UFL and run roughshod."
One guy a team. Guys? That'd be that TO comes back in.
Wouldn't that be fun? Tony Romo.
We haven't talked about our UFL teams. We haven't talked about our UFL teams.
Yeah, it's been
don't Google it. Don't you get your hands off that keyboard. Get your hands off that keyboard. How's everyone's UFL teams doing?
I think I'm 3-1. St. Louis Battlehawks. We lost our first game, went on a winning streak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boone.
Can I Google
I'm
now?
2-3.
Yes, you're 2-3. Oh, I see you on your phone. You cheater.
I'm not. I don't even know.
Cheater.
I'm not.
Show me your phone. Show it. Show me your phone. Show it to me. Don't you click on it. You fucking. Hey,
4-1. 4-1 Battlehawks, baby.
Ding
plus
him.
56 point differential.
My undefeated Birmingham Stallions are taking the league by storm, boys. Just murdering out. Adrian Martinez out there slinging that thing. Slinging it. And that's what the UFL's about. No one wants to see the old heads. I get what you're saying, Mac, but it's not what the league's about.
No, they don't want that, dude.
But you do need money to run the league.
Dude, speaking of, have you seen the Arena Football League update from the weekend?
No.
This is wild. Okay.
Arena football.
So Arena Football came back after it's like the fourth time that it's come back. Yeah.
It's died. Dude, that thing's been revived. It's on life support at this point.
Keep it going.
I'm going to read you. I got to read you this from Pro Football Talk. And there's a Minnesota team. So Boone and I, maybe we're living in Minnesota. Maybe
I
we
went
can
to
go
a
together.
game once. I took Johnny to an Arizona game, and we sat on the right along the padding. It was amazing, dude. I had so
Keep
much
your drink
fun.
off that ledge, though.
Oh, yeah. So fun.
So the Arena League, which launched in the 1980s, went through various sizes and shapes before disappearing in 2020, returned over the weekend. There were complications, to say the least. First off, the games were supposed to be televised by NFL Network. They ultimately were not televised over the weekend. The NFL has not responded to a request for confirmation for comment regarding the failure of the games to be televised.
Wait, you picked draft weekend? You picked draft weekend to open your season? Yeah, okay, yeah. We're going to...
You guys
I know you all want to watch the second round here. We're going to cut to the Colorado Crush versus the Arizona Rattlers. We'll be right back. Yeah, no.
Oh, God.
So, okay, but it gets worse. More specifically, the Philadelphia Soul had a weekend to forget. Per the Philadelphia Inquirer, many players allegedly were released on Friday before the first game over the weekend and booted from the Super 8 motel where they had been staying. Their luggage, according to the report, was taken from them and locked in a room. Apparently, the league took ownership of the Soul after a group that was going to buy the team backed out at the last minute. The Philadelphia coach, Patrick Pimmel, stepped down the day before the Soul were due to face the Louisiana Voodoo in Lafayette. Players from the Dallas Falcons of the American Arena League 2, which is like a subdivision Arena League, served as replacements in the new Arena League for the Philadelphia Soul. So they took a different team's roster, elevated them to a higher level Arena League.
Guys, we're the Soul tonight.
And put Philadelphia Soul.
But that's not my name on the back of the jersey. Wear it.
The Voodoo won in a blowout, 53-18. There's no mention of the game on what appears to be the Arena League's current website.
Was it sanctioned? It wasn't a sanctioned game. It was an exhibition.
Hey, listen. I would totally be down to for having this. What Mackey said, you could go out and spend as much as you want on one player for the Arena League. That would be incredible, dude. Mackey, this is a great idea.
I'm telling you, man.
Dude, you need to start telling more people.
You guys call me a hot take clickbait artist.
No,
that's
a great idea. Because now I'm already starting to think about teams that I'd be like, listen, you could easily pay this guy $1 million.
Think about this. It's the same concept. Think about this. So, are you more likely to pay $100 pay-per-view to watch two heavyweight boxers you've never heard of fight for a championship? Or Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Oh, Logan Paul, Mike Tyson for sure. Guarantee. Right? I agree with you 100%. That's why I'm like, this is a great strategy. We need to create this league. The rest of you get paid shillings. You get paid everything.
Odell Beckham out there just mossing over
dude.
like a 21-year-old corner from
Randy, quick. It's only an 8-game season. Quick. We're bringing T.O. back.
Gronk out there, man.
Can we reverse back that these dudes' pregame meals are in the Super 8? Like,
Super 8.
like not just for like you were kicked out of the like hotel, the team hotel, but they went to the specifics
Super
of like the Super 8. Is that the one that's like, we'll leave the light on for you?
Like
Like,
Motel 6.
Motel
Put
6.
some
Motel
respect
6.
on
By the
Tom
way-
Odette's name.
Who steals someone's luggage and just locks it away like you're not getting this
it's mine
back?
now. It's mine.
You owe us.
This is your payment. I actually think you have to pay to be in the Arena League. Like,
God, that's terrible. That is so bad.
dude, I
If you have
remember,
to pay to be in.
I had some war stories. Boone, you probably did too, of buddies that were in the USFL.
NFL Europe.
When the bottom fell out.
No.
Like, remember, like mid-season. This is probably like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
I remember when it
like,
fell out, yeah.
Middle of the like, dude, I had buddies that were on the team in Tampa, or they were playing a game in Tampa. They weren't there. They were from, I don't remember what other team, but they were in Tampa when the full cease and desist letter came out, and the team was like, sorry boys, get home yourselves, and just left them in Tampa. Like, they just left them there.
And didn't get paid. They didn't get paid.
No, they
right?
didn't get paid. Just left them there. And I remember asking, I was like, did they feed you? He goes, our lunch was 2 hot dogs and 1 bun. Like, that's what they fed him for
Oh my
lunch. Like,
God.
stadium hot dogs. 2 of them get your protein, but it was in 1 bun. Like, dude, there was some of these leagues were just disasters.
Don't even get me started. How about the one on the Netflix series? Bishop Sycamore?
Oh, the
Yeah,
fake
yeah, yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Stop it. I heard there's another one coming out. I heard they try to play another game or something. Dude, this whole thing has me wrapped. I can't believe we're living real life when we're talking about this shit.
But like
we just got kicked out of the Super 8.
Do you think the guy at the Super 8's like, dude, I'm just 1 step away from the NFL? Like,
Oh,
is it.
guaranteed.
This is my shot.
Garen,
I'm knocking on
the film
door.
today is going to push me over. I'm going to fucking murder.
I'm gonna take the soul out of the souls, and we're gonna go, baby. Like, we're gonna roll.
You know how much you have to love football to be
That's
what I've always
Super 8 the
loved.
night
Like,
before.
I
Dude,
love football
hey.
to a point, like to an extent, right? Like, I love my kids. Like, I would do anything for my kids. I love
Yeah.
the game of football. But if you didn't pay me the outrageous salary that we made and give me the medical benefits that we had, like, that's the biggest thing, is these dudes are on like mom and dad's insurance plan out there
Yeah.
playing a dangerous game,
Very
hoping that
dangerous.
something doesn't happen. Like,
With no
it's
doctors.
crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
think about how many doctors we have standing on the sidelines that are like, he doesn't look right. Call a timeout. And like, you just think about all the doctors that run out there when you get hurt. And you think
Yeah.
about these games.
There's
you're
no
like,
independent spotter at the
no,
arena game.
there's nothing. Nothing.
Okay, I have one more name to throw in the UFL mix. Okay, would you
All right, ready?
would you be more likely if we dusted off? Let me do some math here. 54-year-old Brett Favre.
Oh,
They're playing the
I
UFL.
would pay.
Only if you wore
fortune.
Wranglers. Only if you played the game wearing
And he has to have a
Wranglers.
copper sleeve on his elbow.
Oh, guaranteed.
Dude, I would pay to watch
everywhere.
it. See, that's what I'm saying. We should start a senior league.
A celebrity
with all
senior
these guys.
league?
Yes, and make it full tackle. Dude, it would be insane. Ed Reed, we're pulling him out of retirement. Ray Lewis, we're pulling you out. Can't get JJ. He's working CBS.
You could get Peyton and Eli for the
Oh,
quarterbacks.
for sure. Opposite sides of the entire league. That'd be great. Just
You
so
could
they
get
can
to
meet
Michael
you.
Vick. Get
you
Michael
could-
Vick back out
You,
there.
you get
Oh.
you get some of the athletes that have like let themselves go too.
Yeah.
You know, like hey, Booger McFarland, you still got it? Like,
Bug.
get out there. You see if Warren Sapp still has a few juice
Hey,
left in the tank.
you could call Tom. Tom, I got an idea.
Tom might come back to the actual league at some point here.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Gerard Mayo said? He was like, listen, with all due respect, y'all, I played with that dude. He ain't coming back. He was like, he's welcome to be a coach, but he ain't playing here. I was like, good for you, bud.
Shuts the door on it.
Shuts the door on it.
Couple questions for the show here.
Oh, yeah,
Doug Hall says, would have been nice if you guys did a live draft watch party on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. That might be impossible with your work schedules, but it would have been great. We should find some time to go live once in a while. Like, I mean, during the draft, Jay's got 19 spreadsheets
Yeah,
open.
there's a 0% chance I'm ever live during the draft. Maybe if I have a year where like I don't have a chance to have a guy day 2, maybe. But like if I ever have a chance for a guy getting drafted, there's 0% chance because I am a ball of stress. Like it's not
even
fun.
call him.
It's not a fun place to be, dude. It's like we did draft headquarters at my house this year, and my wife was like, "Yeah, we're not doing that again." Like she came down one time with like Graham, our youngest, and like we're watching the draft, and he started crying, and I was like, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Get him out of here." She's like looking at me, and I was like, "What do you?" It's the draft, and she's like, "It's your son." I was like, "Take him upstairs." And like, it wasn't good.
I heard you referred to your son as "it" in that moment. Actually,
yeah,
right?
it wasn't.
Get it away.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Shut it up.
Like
now.
it wasn't. Yeah, this is such a high stress thing. But I agree, we should do a couple live shows.
Dude, I can't believe you're that stressed. You should never have a job that makes you that stressed.
Okay, well, you go invest tens of thousands of dollars into kids, and then watch the NFL tell them if it's going to work out or not, and then tell me how stressed it goes.
I'm with your
Eat
wife
shit.
on this one. I'm with your wife on this one.
No. All right.
Does Jay need to calm down a little bit? Is that what you're saying?
A little bit.
You were with us there on Friday night last year when we were waiting for J-Mike to get drafted. You were just as stressed.
You're right.
You were just
well,
as
you guys set the mood. It could have been you guys had computers out and laptops in every corner, and you were literally,
jobs,
dude, literally.
It's our literal job.
I left, and I was like, I will never go back into that war room ever. Ever. I'm never watching the draft with Sirles ever. You should have seen. I watched it completely different. It was just more like, oh, all right.
Bradshaw 2244 says, "Can you guys please make this show like 2 hours every day? I need it." That's the ticket here. If we go 2 hours every day, blow this thing up, and then Jay is less reliant on trying to find football jobs for kids.
We have too many kids to go that long.
Way too many kids.
Cole Larson says, "What happens if a draft pick doesn't sign his contract? Like, what happens if Michael Penix were to just say, I don't want to play here. This is dumb."
This came up when I was in Frisco with Michael Crabtree. Do you guys remember that? The rookie holdout?
Joey
Was
Bosa,
this
too.
before the slotting? Was this before the...
No. Yes, this was before the slotting because it was the
before
last year of the slotting, and he was mad. And so he ended up going like into a holdout all the way into camp, and everybody was like, what's going to happen? Does he go into the draft next year and get redrafted? And everyone was like, no, stupids. They sit on your rights forever. Like, what do you mean?
You.
That's so at first, and this was back in 2009, so this was before anything ever got crazy and anyone had a voice. But when he didn't sign, I remember everybody on that team was like, this is unprecedented. What do you mean you're not going to sign your fucking contract? Like, sign it and get here. And he ended up going into like 3 weeks into camp with it. And everyone was literally like, what happens if the season starts? And they were like, nothing. He won't play for anybody else because the team said he plays for us. So he can't just let him go because everyone's like, man, Michael's going to win. He's going to go into next year's draft and get drafted even higher. And everyone was, I remember all the old guys were like, you guys are stupid. They're literally going to sit upstairs and go, whenever you're ready to come sign it, it's sitting right here on the front of our desk. Like, it ain't moving. Nobody's put anything into it. It ain't changing. You can come. You don't have to come. Like, it became a big deal out there. But then he ended up coming. And I remember everyone when he showed up was like, you feel stupid? You should.
Well, yeah, there's this thing called tolling your contract.
Oh, yeah. Don't say that word.
Your
don't say that.
Tolls, which means it just sits
You
dormantly.
You don't get like a year two raise. Nothing, right?
Matter of fact, it just pushes 1 year down the road. So you get nothing that year, and it goes to the next year to start. They're like, oh, you don't want to start this year?
Which is great for the team because the
they
team
love it.
Love it because the cap goes up, but the contract stays
the same.
I get older, and they stay the same age.
Yeah, so it's not an option. You can decide that you no longer want to play football. Right? Michael Penix, if you no longer want to play football, don't sign your contract. Otherwise, you're going to have to sign it.
Yeah, it's
so.
When they draft you, they own you.
Yeah. 28 Dead Poet. We got one more here for this episode. Keep them coming in the YouTube comment section. 28 Dead Poet says, you hear and see quarterbacks talk about getting in the zone where they're in a rhythm, dominating a defense, everything's clicking. Do offensive linemen ever get in a zone, quote unquote, during a game? What's it like? Have you guys ever just been in a matrix? I
used to get in the zone all the time. And Tony used to get mad at me. He'd be like, Bona, when you go off on your tangents, you're uncontrollable. Like you, dude, I completely agree with that. Like there would be a time where you would just be striking dudes and you would see everything coming at you and you were like, man, I'm in the zone. And that's when I would get into these like really like quiet modes of like, I'm in this. And Tony hated it. But there's a lot of times I think when they talk about quarterbacks, they're predicting the defense and they see everything happening and they are kind of like, man, this is just like the film all week. Yeah. And the minute the coach is like, hey, on 3rd and long, we're expecting this saw blitz. First 3rd and long, he's like, here comes saw. I'm going to 1. Boom. ball out. Like you're like, dude, he's in the zone. He's in the huddle. All of a sudden he's like, guys, here we go. Let's get this disco rolling. And all of a sudden you're like, all right, he's feeling himself today. There are times too where he's not. And you're like, shit, we guessed completely wrong for the whole first half. Now we need to go in and make major adjustments. That happens too. But for an offensive lineman, I think it happens the most in the run game. When you get guys that are huffing and puffing and you start moving them around and they start playing defensive, that's when you as a unit are like, all right, now we're starting to feel ourselves. You start to rush for like 150, 200. You're like, okay, let's keep this momentum rolling. When I was early in Frisco, there was a lot of games like that where it was just we were running off the ball. People would try and blitz us. There were several times we would practice running into the blitz because they loved the way we could figure it out, and it would hit perfectly. And I remember one time in Green Bay, we had one go for like 25 yards, and we ended up slipping the linebacker up to the safety. So Jay, our center, took the defensive end. I ended up taking the linebacker, and AD ended up taking the safety, and it was like the sweetest carousel you ever saw. They highlighted it all week. I'll ding myself. It was one of the coolest fucking things I've ever been a part of, especially because it was like AJ Hawk on the other side and BJ Raji. Like, we were fucking murdering them. Frank was all excited. Like, when you get into those games, I think the defense feels it, and they're like, shit, this is going to hurt, because you're like, now we're just going to roll the ball, and when we don't want to do that, we're going to throw the ball, and then when we don't want to do that, we're just going to go back to rolling the ball again. Like, it's just a fun game for us.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Booney just said. You know, the only difference for me, getting in the zone for me was always when I felt the most prepared, right? When I knew, like when I ran out onto the field and I was like, there's nothing this defense is going to throw at me that I'm not going to have seen before, right? When you just feel like you put the work in all week long, you studied, you did everything, and you know you can tell when you go out there and then things start moving slower. Versus there was a few games for me where I'll admit, like I was a backup at a guard position, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, our right tackle went down, and then you run out there and you're like, oh, I got to play right tackle, and you're like, I didn't put the work that I usually put into when I'm out here, and then you're just kind of surging and rolling on adrenaline. You can actually get into a rhythm that way, and sometimes, I mean, you kind of black out and you're like, I don't know how I just did that, but I'm here. I did it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but for me, it was always just the preparedness always kind of fed into that being in the zone.
To speak to that thing, that what Jay just said about like sometimes you can go out there and play better unprepared, I think it's the dumbness of it. You don't realize how good the player is you're playing against, and all of a sudden you go out there, and I will say this, if you go out there against a really good player and you make a great strike on the first pass set, the rest of the game's over. For some reason, you just have his number. Like, if you hit him square-chested, the rest of the game, he doesn't really sit in your mind. It's when those first couple reps, he swipes your hands and catches you leaning that you're like, shit. Oh, boy. All right, I got lucky there. I can't do that again. Can't do that again. And then all of a sudden, you're playing a little bit more defensive. But when you go out there and you're like, you need me to play where? I've had that. I went out and played right guard, and then 7 plays in, they were like, hey, you're going to left tackle. And I was like, well, what? And that was when our boy at the Rams, fucking, what was his long ass defensive end? I can't remember his name.
I got nothing for you.
What year? Give me like a year.
2011, 12, 13. He was opposite of
was it Chris
opposite
Long?
of Chris Long. Opposite. Had the sack record one year. It was him, Brockers, Aaron Donald, Chris Long. Dude, they were fucking beasts.
The sack record one year. Oh, Robert Quinn?
Robert Quinn.
Oh,
had to go out. And they were like, all right, you're going to go play Robert Quinn. I remember going,
ugliest human I've ever seen.
But now here's the problem. Like Jay said, I never really look outside for my problems, right? Like, because if you catch those dudes, it's on they spun in on a tackle and you're just going to lay them out, right? Like, you're never like, I'm going to have to block this guy by myself. And the minute they did that, I was like, oh, shit. I think I've heard a lot about this guy. He's doing really well. I remember going over and I was talking to AD and I go, hey, what do we know about Robert Quinn? He goes, I don't fucking know. I'm playing Chris Long my whole life. I was like, shit, because they didn't rotate. And so I was like, shit, you don't know anything about him. He's like, real long dude, going to give you some long arms. I don't fucking know. Punch him. I was like, shit. Dude, you go out there, it's like Jay said, total adrenaline rush. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to hit the shit out of you and stay with you the whole game, and I'm just going to talk a whole bunch. Like, it was some of the most fun times you have in your life because you're just stupid and you know you're not really going to get in trouble. This isn't my position. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm just filling in for a guy, but if I'm doing good, they're going to love it, right? Like, it's just
it's house money,
fun.
Man.
Yes.
You did that to me in 16.
Fuck yourself. I did not.
You did it
Dude, that's a lie.
All right. We're playing the Panthers, right? And this dude screws his hip up. And so I end up having to start the rest of the game at left guard for him. all week long, they're like, I don't think Booney's going to be able to go. So I take all the 1 reps all week. We're playing the Giants on Monday night, and I'm taking all the 1 reps. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this week. All of a sudden, Friday, Boone's miraculously healed. And he's like, I'm great. I'm good. And they're like, oh, sweet. All right, but Sirles, be ready, right? Like, be ready to go. Like, we don't know how long Booney's going to hold up, right? So I prepared like a starter at left guard all week long. I know who we're going against. We got Hankins in there. Like, everything's going to be great. All of a sudden, 6 plays into the game, Andre Smith pops his tricep, right tackle, right? And they're like, Sirles, you played tackle. Go on out there. And so I the same thing. Like, you just kind of run out there like, who's the end this week? Like, I was looking inside, and I remember looking across like, oh, that's Jason Pierre-Paul with his weird hand.
Yeah.
Like he's got the alien hand going. And I had
Coming
like
for
a really good game against him, right? But it was the same thing, kind of just the dumb, like, I wasn't sure what to expect, so you just got to play within yourself and be like, I'm just going to play really hard and hope things go well. And there were some bad plays in that game, and there's some really good plays in that game. But yeah, it's just very much a like fly by the seat of your pants type of thing and hope it works.
Little
Dude,
Ninja Turtle hand.
I gotta
just
say
coming up,
this.
coming up alongside your head.
There's a lot of times you don't get a lot of credit, but going out and playing JPP after expecting to play guard, I don't know if you guys understand, Mackey, how insanely fucking talented he was. I remember we played him when I was young, and everybody came up to me and was like, don't say a fucking word to him. And I was like, why? And they're like, this dude gets turned up and it's fucking over. Like, he could wreck all of us. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were like, they were saying something like, you don't have to play him against him either. They were like, the tackles were like, you don't have to play him either. First play. What's up, pussy? Like, shut the fuck up. Dude, I will say that, dude. Hey, he lined up across from you. It was like looking at Jadeveon Clowney when he first got drafted. I remember playing him when
he was like
you were
Gumby.
like, no, dude, no. They were long. They had these long arms, and they were looking at you like, "Where am I going? Where am I going?" And you were like,
he was like the wacky inflatable guys. It's just like,
oh, and he could bend his hips
then all
and
of a sudden
like
he just
flip
be like,
and like,
and he was crazy talented.
Or you'd be expecting all that, and he'd hit you with a fucking long arm, and you'd be like, really, really, bro.
Yeah. That was a fun
Dude,
game. That was a fun game in 16.
Michael
when we beat
Bennett,
them
God,
in
they
the
all
night.
were the same, dude. They were just don't get him around. That was a great
Hello,
play.
Mr. Bennett. Yeah, nice.
That was
play,
a great
Mr. Bennett.
tackle.
Nice job. Yeah, how's your family
You
doing,
help
Mr.
him
Bennett?
up. You help him up. Like you
Can I dust off
could,
your uniform?
You could finish him over a pile, and you're like, maybe not this guy.
I'm going to be honest. I never did that with Michael. Michael and I went to the death with each other because I loved him that much and we respected each other. We had to go that hard. But there was maybe a couple guys that you were like, there was a time that I did it because the guy was old. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be the guy that ends this guy's career. That would put me, because I was on the team of the guy who cut Kevin Williams when the Niners played the Vikings. And I remember after that game, they were like, where the fuck is he? And I was like, easy. He's young. He had no idea. The coaches told him to do it. They were like, doesn't matter. He's your rookie. This is your fault. I was like, easy. Okay. And that was like, you had like B-Rob over there and Ev. They were hot. And I was like, easy. It's an accident. They're like, we're not going to have Kevin the whole season now. I was like, it's a big accident, real big accident.
Could happen to anyone. Yeah,
could have happened to anyone. They were like, and it was completely dirty. Like the play was going away, and he just came out of nowhere and cut him from behind. And it was like, oh god, we're all gonna fight our way out of this one. It was bad.
Amazing, man. So your dumb football questions here.